I was reading in the newspaper today how Apple has now become the richest corporation in corporate history, sitting on cash assets of over $200 billion. Absolutely amazing what Apple has become, but it wasn't always that way. In the early 80s, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs had developed a computer system that was revolutionary, but sales were disappointing and Steve Jobs knew that he needed help. But over at PepsiCo, there was a young CEO who had done amazing things. John Sculley had taken Pepsi from an also-ran into the largest soft drink company in the world, and he was celebrated all over the world as an amazing leader and CEO. One day, Steve Jobs walked into his office and said, "John, I want you to consider resigning from PepsiCo and becoming the CEO and president of Apple Computers." John Sculley said, "Well, young man, what do you have to offer?" And Steve said, "Well, a great product, but not much else. We can't pay you what Pepsi pays you. We don't have the facilities that Pepsi pays." And at that, John Sculley said, "Young man, I'm a busy man. Stop wasting my time. Get out of my office." History tells us that Steve Jobs turned to go. And just before he left, he turned back around, looked at John Sculley and said, "I'll leave, Mr. Sculley, but I have one question for you before I go. Do you want to spend the rest of your life peddling sugar water, or would you like an opportunity to change the world?" Well, the rest is history. It was just a short time later when John Sculley decided to move from success to significance and left PepsiCo to become the president and CEO of Apple Computers. It's amazing what the proper call will do in a person's life. I was thinking about another such circumstance. When I lived in Hawaii, I was really good friends with a man named Elwin Ahu. Elwin had started his work and life as a judge and was currently tapped to be the next candidate for a Supreme Court position in the state of Hawaii. When Wayne Cordero, the pastor of New Hope Christian Fellowship in Hawaii, said to Elwin, "I'd like for you to consider becoming the executive pastor of New Hope." Elwin was as nonplussed by the question as John Sculley had been by that of Steve Jobs. But again, just before he departed, Pastor Wayne said, "Elwin, I've just got one question for you. Now that you're a disciple of Jesus Christ, don't you think it's time you got off the bench and got in the game?" And likewise, just a couple of days later, Elwin Ahu went before the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in Hawaii and resigned his position on the bench in order to become a pastor at New Hope, where today he flourishes in ministry. You know, all of us are called to join Jesus in his mission. The call to go is not new to us. But in Matthew 9:38, Jesus also said to those of us who are mature believers, "Pray to the Lord of the harvest that God will send workers into his harvest field." You know, in addition to the call to go ourselves, mature believers are called to be a catalyst to the calling of others. It's amazing what can happen when one person with a vision that's larger than just day-to-day things will cast that vision before another and put forth the call. I'm glad John Sculley had a good career with Apple. I'm glad Elwin Ahu is persevering in the ministry in Hawaii. Many people are primed to move from success to significance in response to a call. And I know that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. We here at the Mission Society are in the core business of sending cross-cultural witnesses around the nation and around the world to join Jesus in his mission. And I hope that every one of the mature disciples who are listening to this message today will take seriously the words of Jesus, not just to go and join him in his mission, but to be catalysts to the calling of others. You never know when the word of invitation you put forth for somebody to take seriously the call of Jesus might be just the thing that will lead them into accepting that calling and changing their life and perhaps the lives of others forever. This sacred calling to join Jesus as a cross-cultural witness is the heart of who we are here at the Mission Society. And if you encounter people in your life and in your world and put forth that challenge, and they're interested in the possibility of a life and career as a cross-cultural witness, have them contact us here at the Mission Society. We'd love to help them find the best fit for their calling so that they can engage in this sacred work. I hope you're having a great summer. Things are going tremendously well here at the Mission Society. There's much to share with you going forward, but for right now, consider being a catalyst to the call in someone's life, and may God bless you richly. Once again, thank you so much for your partnership with the Mission Society.